The crystal blade pierced Princess Lyralay's chest, black veins spreading across her pale skin like poison through water. Queen Isabella watched from her throne as the Vorthak warrior twisted the cursed weapon deeper, his reptilian eyes gleaming with triumph. The alien's scaled hand released the hilt, leaving the princess to collapse on the obsidian floor of the challenge arena. "The curse is complete," the Vorthak hissed, his forked tongue tasting the air. "Your champion falls, human queen. Surrender your world or watch her suffer eternal torment." The princess writhed, her silver armor cracking as dark energy consumed her from within. Her sapphire eyes, once bright with determination, now clouded with agony. The curse would trap her soul between life and death, making her a vessel for Vorthak magic. Isabella had seen it happen to champions from 12 other worlds. "The terms were clear," Isabella said, her voice steady despite the ice in her veins. "If our champion fails, Earth submits to Vorthak rule. But the challenge isn't over." General Krax, the Vorthak commander, stepped forward. His massive frame cast shadows across the arena floor. "Your princess is defeated. No human can remove the Soul Render blade. It is bound by ancient curses, forged in the fires of our dead gods." Around the arena, representatives from fallen civilizations watched in silence. The Zephyrians, once masters of wind and storm, now served as Vorthak slaves. The crystalline Nexari had been reduced to living batteries for alien war machines. Earth would join them unless a miracle occurred. Princess Lyralay's breathing grew shallow. The curse spread toward her heart, each pulse sending waves of darkness through her body. Isabella gripped her throne's armrests, feeling the weight of 7 billion souls pressing down on her shoulders. "I invoke the right of substitution," Isabella declared. The arena fell silent. Even the Vorthak warriors exchanged uncertain glances. General Krax's eyes narrowed to slits. "Impossible. The right has not been invoked in 3,000 years. No civilization has attempted it since the Corvani extinction." "The ancient laws still stand," Isabella replied. "If a champion falls but lives, another may take their place. The challenge continues until death or victory." Rax's claws scraped against his ceremonial staff. "Very well, human queen. But know this, whoever accepts the substitution must face not only our champion, but also the curse itself. The Soul Render feeds on courage, turning bravery into weakness, hope into despair. Choose your substitute wisely, for they will die screaming." Isabella stood, her royal robes flowing behind her like liquid starlight. "I call upon any who would defend humanity. Who among you will face the curse?" The human delegation remained motionless. Admirals, generals, and ambassadors all avoided her gaze. They had witnessed the princess's torment, seen the curse's horrible power. To volunteer meant certain death. In the silence, a single hand rose from the back of the human section. Every head turned. Whispers rippled through the arena as a figure stood slowly, deliberately. He wore no uniform, no medals, no symbols of rank. Just simple clothes and scarred hands that spoke of hard labor and harder choices. "I'll do it," Marcus Chen said. Isabella's heart stopped. Marcus was a maintenance worker, assigned to the delegation's technical support staff. He had no combat training, no noble bloodline, no special abilities, just calloused palms and quiet determination. "Stand down, maintenance worker," Admiral Torres hissed. "This requires a trained soldier." Marcus stepped into the aisle, his brown eyes fixed on the dying princess. "With respect, Admiral, I don't see any trained soldiers volunteering." General Krax laughed, a sound like grinding glass. "This grows more entertaining. The humans send a laborer to face our greatest champion." "Very well, let him die quickly." Marcus walked toward the arena floor, each step echoing in the vast chamber. Isabella wanted to stop him, to find another way, but Earth's laws were clear. She had made the call for volunteers. She could not refuse the only answer. As Marcus passed her throne, their eyes met for a moment. She saw no fear there, only resolve. He nodded once, then continued toward Princess Lyrelay and the cursed blade that would soon claim another victim. The arena gates sealed behind him with a sound like thunder. Marcus knelt beside the princess, studying the black veins spreading across her armor. The soul render pulsed with malevolent energy, its crystal surface reflecting twisted images of conquered worlds. "Hey there, princess," Marcus whispered, his voice gentle despite the circumstances. "I'm going to get that thing out of you." Lyra Lay's eyes fluttered open, focusing on his face with tremendous effort. "Don't," she gasped. "The curse, it will kill you." Marcus smiled, the expression somehow sad and fierce at the same time. "Maybe. But I've got nothing left to lose, and you've got everything to live for." He placed his scarred hands around the crystal hilt. The moment his skin touched the cursed metal, black lightning erupted across his arms. Marcus screamed but didn't let go. The real challenge was just beginning. The Soul Render's curse hit Marcus like frozen fire, racing through his nervous system with predatory hunger. Black veins appeared on his arms, spreading toward his heart with each thundering pulse. The blade fed on his life force, growing brighter as his strength dimmed. "Foolish human!" the Vorthak champion snarled, stepping closer to watch the entertainment. "The Soul Render has claimed thousands of warriors. What makes you think a mere laborer can succeed where princes have failed?" Marcus gritted his teeth, fighting against the curse's whispers that promised relief if he would just let go. The blade showed him visions of his worst memories, his daughter's funeral, the cancer that took his wife, the empty apartment that awaited his return. The Soul Render fed on pain, transforming grief into weakness. But Marcus had learned something from loss that the blade couldn't understand. Sometimes the deepest wounds taught the greatest lessons about endurance. Princess Lirelay watched through fading vision as the maintenance worker's hands began to smoke around the crystal hilt. His face contorted with agony, but his grip remained steady. She had felt the curse's power firsthand, knew the torture he was experiencing. Most warriors pulled away within seconds. Marcus held on. Queen Isabella rose from her throne, every instinct screaming at her to intervene. But the ancient laws were clear. Once substitution began, no outside interference was permitted. She could only watch as Earth's unlikely champion fought against forces that had conquered star systems. The curse probed deeper into Marcus's mind, seeking the despair it needed to complete its work. It found his memories of Sarah, his 8-year-old daughter who had died in the plague that swept Earth's colonies. The blade seized on that pain, amplifying it until Marcus felt like drowning in his own grief. But instead of breaking, something unexpected happened. Marcus began to laugh. "That all you got?" he whispered to the cursed weapon. "I buried my baby girl 3 years ago. I held my wife's hand while cancer ate her alive. Your little light show doesn't scare me." The Vorthak champion stepped back, confusion replacing confidence. "This is unusual. The curse should have claimed him by now." Marcus's laughter grew stronger, tinged with an edge that made even the reptilian warriors nervous. "You want to know what real pain feels like? It's not screaming in some arena for a bunch of aliens. It's sitting in a hospital waiting room at 3 a.m, knowing the woman you love is dying and there's nothing you can do about it." The Soul Render's crystal surface began to flicker. For the first time in 3 millennia, the ancient weapon encountered something it couldn't process. A man who had already lost everything that mattered. General Krax stepped forward, his staff crackling with energy. "Impossible. No mortal mind can resist the curse's influence." "That's where you're wrong, lizard face." Marcus's voice grew steadier, despite the black veins now covering half his body. "See, I've been carrying my own curse for 3 years. You can't break what's already broken." He began to pull on the blade. The Soul Render resisted, its edges cutting deep into his palms. Blood mixed with dark energy, creating patterns that had never been seen before. The curse tried to feed on his pain, but found only empty spaces where hope and fear used to live. Princess Lirelay felt the pressure in her chest begin to ease. The black veins on her skin started to fade as the blade's hold on her weakened. "How?" she gasped. "Simple," Marcus grunted, pulling harder. His bones creaked under the strain, but the blade moved another inch. Sometimes the best person for a job is the one with nothing left to lose. The arena erupted in chaos. Vorthak warriors drew their weapons, but General Krax raised a clawed hand to stop them. "Let him try," the commander said, his voice fascinated and horrified in equal measure. "I want to see what happens when a broken human challenges the gods themselves." Marcus planted his feet and pulled with everything he had. The soul render shrieked, a sound like reality tearing. Cracks appeared in the crystal blade as forces never meant to interact collapsed into each other. The maintenance worker who fixed broken things for a living was about to break something that was never supposed to be breakable. The arena lights flickered. Several alien spectators fled toward the exits as the very air began to taste of electricity and ozone. Something fundamental was changing, and everyone could feel it. Queen Isabella gripped her throne until her knuckles went white. Whatever happened next would determine not just Earth's fate, but possibly the balance of power in the entire galaxy. All of it rested on the shoulders of a man she barely knew, a worker who had raised his hand when no one else would. Marcus took a deep breath and smiled at the dying princess. "Hold on, Your Highness. This is about to get interesting." The soul render blade cracked down the middle with a sound like breaking stars. Dark energy hemorrhaged from the fractures, painting impossible colors across the arena walls. Marcus felt the curse's grip on his soul weaken as the ancient weapon struggled to maintain its integrity. Princess Lorelei gasped as the pressure on her chest lifted dramatically. The black veins across her skin began to recede, though the effort of maintaining the curse's dissolution was clearly draining Marcus to his limits. Sweat mixed with blood on his forehead as he fought against 3,000 years of accumulated malevolence. "The weapon is failing," General Krax observed, his reptilian features tight with concern. "This should not be possible." The Vorthak champion raised his ceremonial war axe, its edges gleaming with toxic coating. "I will end this farce myself." "Stand down," Krax commanded. "The ancient laws forbid interference during a valid challenge. We must see this through to its conclusion." Marcus pulled harder, feeling tendons stretched to their breaking point. The soul render's crystalline structure began to sing, a high-pitched whine that made several spectators press their hands to their ears. The blade was dying, but it wouldn't go quietly. In desperation, the curse tried one final gambit. It showed Marcus a vision so perfect and terrible that lesser minds had shattered upon witnessing it. His wife and daughter, alive and healthy, waiting for him in a world where the plague had never happened. All he had to do was release the blade and pledge Earth's allegiance to the Vorthak Empire. His family would be restored, the pain would end, and he could finally rest. Marcus stared at the vision for a long moment, his grip on the soul render wavering. "Marcus," Princess Lyrayli whispered, recognizing the distant look in his eyes. "Don't listen to it. Whatever you're seeing isn't real." "I know," he replied softly, "but it's beautiful." For a heartbeat that lasted forever, the arena held its breath. Queen Isabella felt time stretch like taffy as humanity's fate balanced on the edge of a maintenance worker's decision. Every alien representative watched with fascination and horror as a species they had dismissed as primitive faced its defining moment. Then Marcus began to laugh again, the sound echoing off the arena walls like rolling thunder. "Nice try," he told the dying blade. "But you made one mistake. My wife would kick my ass if I traded 7 billion lives for a pretty lie." He yanked with every ounce of strength left in his battered body. The soul render cracked completely in half, its twin pieces falling to the arena floor with musical chimes that sounded almost relieved. Dark energy dissipated like smoke in a strong wind, taking with it the accumulated pain of 1,000 conquered worlds. Princess Lorelei sat up, her breathing steady for the first time since the challenge began. The black veins had vanished completely, leaving only pale scars that would fade with time. She looked at Marcus with something approaching awe. "How did you do it?" she asked. "The curse was absolute. Nothing was supposed to break it." Marcus collapsed beside her, exhaustion finally claiming its due. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is let go. The blade fed on attachment, on the fear of losing what mattered most. But I already lost everything. 3 years ago, there was nothing left for it to take. The arena erupted in chaos as the implications sank in. The Vorthak Empire's primary weapon of subjugation had been destroyed by a human maintenance worker with calloused hands and a broken heart. Delegates from subjugated species began to whisper among themselves, seeing hope for the first time in generations. General Krax's staff clattered to the floor. The reptilian commander stared at the broken blade fragments with the expression of someone watching their entire worldview crumble. "This changes nothing," he said, but his voice lacked conviction. "The Empire will find other ways to claim your world." "No," Queen Isabella said, rising from her throne with regal authority. "It changes everything. You've just witnessed something your empire forgot existed. The power of someone who fights not for what they have, but for what others might lose." Marcus struggled to his feet, helped by the princess. His scarred hands were steady despite everything he had endured. "The challenge isn't over," he announced. "Your champion is still here." The Vorthak warrior hefted his war axe, but uncertainty flickered in his reptilian eyes. He had expected to face a broken human, not someone who had just accomplished the impossible. "You destroyed our most sacred weapon," the champion hissed. "You will pay for that sacrilege." "Probably," Marcus agreed. "But at least it'll be a fair fight now." The maintenance worker rolled his shoulders and faced the 7-foot alien warrior. He had no weapons, no armor, no training in alien combat techniques. Just determination and the knowledge that sometimes the right person in the wrong place could change the course of history. The real fight was about to begin. The Vorthak champion circled Marcus like a predator, his war axe leaving trails of toxic vapor in the arena air. The alien stood 7 feet tall, muscles rippling beneath scaled hide that could deflect small arms fire. His weapons had tasted the blood of 100 worlds. Marcus flexed his scarred fingers and settled into a maintenance worker's crouch. Low center of gravity, balanced weight distribution, ready to move fast when heavy machinery inevitably tried to kill him. It wasn't a martial arts stance, but it had kept him alive in industrial accidents for 20 years. "You face Talker the World Breaker," the champion announced, raising his axe. "I have slain kings and generals across 17 star systems. What hope does a broken human have against such might?" "About the same as a broken pipe has against a good wrench," Marcus replied. "Sometimes the fix is easier than you think." Thacker lunged forward, his axe whistling through the air where Marcus's head had been a split second before. The human rolled left, came up running, and grabbed a shard of the broken soul render from the arena floor. The crystal fragment felt warm in his palm, humming with residual energy. The alien's second swing came faster, the axe blade trailing poison. Marcus dove between Thacker's legs, slashing upward with the crystal shard. It cut through scale and muscle like butter, drawing a roar of pain and surprise from the champion. "Impossible!" General Krax breathed. "Thacker's hide can withstand plasma weapons." Princess Lyrelay wiped blood from her lips, studying the crystal fragment in Marcus's hand. The soul render pieces, she realized. They're still connected to the curse's power, but now they serve the one who broke them. Marcus rolled away from another axe strike, the blade cracking the arena floor where he had been lying. The alien was faster and stronger, but he fought with the confidence of someone who had never faced a truly desperate opponent. Marcus had spent 3 years living with the knowledge that the universe was fundamentally unfair. It made him unpredictable. He feinted right, then lunged left, the crystal shard opening another wound on Thacker's thigh. Dark blood spattered the obsidian floor, hissing where it struck. The champion's movements grew more frantic, less controlled. "Stand still, coward!" Thacker roared, swinging wildly. "Face me with honor." "Honor is for people who have something to prove," Marcus panted, dodging another strike. "I'm just here to fix a problem." The battle descended into a deadly game of cat and mouse. Thacker had the strength and reach advantage, but Marcus understood leverage and momentum from years of moving heavy equipment. Each time the alien committed to a powerful attack, the human used that force against him. Marcus caught the axe handle during an overhead swing, using Thacker's own strength to guide the blade into the arena wall. The weapon stuck for a crucial second, and Marcus drove his crystal shard deep into the champion's side. This time, the alien's roar shook dust from the ceiling. Blood loss was taking its toll on both fighters. Marcus's hands were slick with crimson from his encounter with the soul render, while Thacker's multiple wounds were beginning to slow his reactions. The arena floor had become treacherous with spilled blood and scattered crystal fragments. Queen Isabella watched from her throne, every muscle in her body coiled tight with tension. The outcome would determine not just Earth's fate, but send ripples throughout the Vorthak Empire. A human victory here would inspire rebellion across a dozen subjugated worlds. Thacker pulled his axe free and spun around, catching Marcus across the shoulder with the flat of the blade. The impact sent the human sprawling, his crystal shards skittering across the floor. The alien champion advanced for the killing blow, raising his weapon high. "It ends here, broken human. You fought well, but strength always defeats cunning in the end." Marcus looked up at the descending axe and smiled one last time. "You're right about strength, Lizard, but you forgot something important." As the blade fell, Marcus rolled hard right and kicked out with both legs, catching Thackor's ankle. The alien's momentum carried him forward, off balance, and Marcus's hands closed around the largest soul render fragment within reach. Moving purely on instinct, the maintenance worker drove the crystal shard upward as the champion fell. Physics and desperation combined in a moment of terrible geometry. The fragment pierced Thackor's chest, just below the heart, the cursed crystal disrupting his alien physiology in ways that conventional weapons could not. Thacker crashed to the arena floor, his axe clattering away harmlessly. He tried to rise, confusion replacing ferocity in his reptilian eyes, but the soul render fragment was already working its way deeper into his system. Marcus rolled away and struggled to his feet, blood streaming from a dozen cuts. He looked down at the fallen champion with something approaching sympathy. "Nothing personal," he said quietly. "But my kid used to say that sometimes you have to break the rules to save what matters." Thackor's eyes widened, then closed. The arena fell silent except for Marcus's labored breathing and the distant hum of alien technology. The human maintenance worker had done the impossible once again. General Krax stood frozen as the implications crashed over him like a tidal wave. The soul render blade destroyed. Thacker the World Breaker dead. A human laborer standing victorious in an arena that had witnessed the fall of civilizations. The mathematical certainty of Vorthak dominance had just been shattered by variables no computer could have predicted. "The challenge is complete," Queen Isabella announced, her voice carrying across the stunned arena. "Earth's champion stands victorious. By your own ancient laws, General Krax, the Vorthak Empire has no claim to our world." The reptilian commander's claws scraped against his ceremonial armor as he processed the magnitude of his defeat. Around the arena, delegates from conquered species watched with growing excitement. If humanity could resist the Vorthak Empire, perhaps liberation was possible for others as well. Marcus swayed on his feet, using the arena wall for support. Princess Lirelei approached cautiously, her royal training warring with genuine concern for the man who had saved both her life and her planet. "Marcus Chen," she said formally, "by right of victory you may claim any reward within my power to grant." The maintenance worker looked at her with tired eyes, then glanced around the arena filled with alien representatives and advanced technology. When he spoke, his voice was hoarse but steady. "I want to go home," he said simply. "Back to my empty apartment with its broken air conditioner and the pictures on the refrigerator. I've got work to do tomorrow." Several alien delegates exchanged confused glances. Victory in the arena traditionally came with vast rewards: territory, wealth, political power, or admission to galactic society's upper echelons. Marcus Chen wanted to return to manual labor. General Krax found his voice at last. "This is not finished, humans. The Empire will remember what happened here. Other champions will come. Other challenges will be issued. You have won a single battle, not the war." "Maybe," Marcus replied, pulling a fragment of the broken soul render from the arena floor. The crystal had stopped glowing, but it still hummed with residual energy. "But next time you'll know something that might make you think twice." "And what is that?" Krax demanded. Marcus smiled, the expression somehow both gentle and terrifying. "You'll know that somewhere among 7 billion humans, there are people who have already lost everything that mattered to them. People who can't be threatened, can't be corrupted, and can't be broken because they broke themselves long ago." He held up the crystal fragment, turning it so the arena lights caught its faceted surface. "You'll know that sometimes the most dangerous person in the room is the one who has nothing left to lose and everything to give." Queen Isabella stepped down from her throne, moving to stand beside the man who had just saved her species. General Krax, I believe you have a report to deliver to your superiors. Please inform them that Earth is under the protection of people like Marcus Chen. The Vorthak delegation filed out in defeated silence, their confidence shattered along with their sacred weapon. Other alien representatives began approaching the human section, some offering congratulations, others quietly suggesting possible alliances. The political landscape of the galaxy had shifted in the span of a single combat. As the arena emptied, Princess Lyrelay remained beside Marcus, studying him with fascination and respect. Will you really return to maintenance work after what you've accomplished here? Marcus nodded, pocketing the crystal fragment. Someone has to keep the machines running. Besides, I've got a picture of my daughter on my workbench. She used to tell people her daddy fixed things that were broken. He looked around the arena one last time, at the bloodstains and crystal fragments that marked humanity's first victory against an interstellar empire. Today, he said quietly, I finally fixed something that really mattered. Princess Lyrelay watched him walk toward the arena exit, understanding that she had witnessed something extraordinary. Not the birth of a hero in the traditional sense, but the revelation of heroism in its purest form. Ordinary people doing extraordinary things simply because they were needed. The maintenance worker disappeared into the corridor, already thinking about tomorrow's repairs. Behind him, he left a galaxy that would never underestimate humanity again, and a crystal fragment that hummed with the echoes of a love so deep that not even ancient curses could diminish it. In the depths of space, the Vorthak Empire would need to find new strategies for conquest. The age of easy victories was over, ended by a man who raised his hand when no one else would, and proved that sometimes the best person for an impossible job is someone who understands that some things are worth breaking yourself to protect. The arena lights dimmed as cleaning crews began their work, but the legend of Marcus Chen was just beginning to spread across the stars.